Welcome again to my happy place. Today we are going to do Spin-E-Fex 7. Spin-E-Fex 7, like all of our other Spin-E-Fex, comes in a collection of 5 templates, 3.5, 5.5, 7.5, which is the size we're going to use, 9.5, and 11.5. I'm not sure how well you can see. This is an 8-point rotation. A picture, of course, of the templates that are in this set. I do have a low shank machine, therefore I'm using low shank templates. And when we open up our instructions, you'll notice this says available in 7 sizes. That's because the Spin-E-Fex 7 is also available in the mini set, which is 2.5 and 1.5 inches. What we're going to do today is we're going to make 8 rotations and we're going to make 16 rotations. What's really nice about this particular template, here's some different ideas on the back as well. You can use it one of 2 ways. You can put this as the center and come around, or you can put the top as the center and come around. 2 very different looks with the same template. Like all of our other Spin-E-Fex, it does have a hole here for your tag. Unlike my other templates that you've seen so far, though, this has a needle channel here. So we don't have that gate that we're opening and closing and living in fear of losing. And although we can replace them, this is so much easier and we don't have to replace them. Now, some of you may be saying, you know, the last template you did was 5, and now we're doing template 7. And yes, that's true. If you didn't pick up on it, you will now. It is very true. I don't have template 6, so I've ordered it. I will add the template 6 to the rest of the videos when it comes in. Okay, so as with all of my other blocks, I have an 11-inch square of fabric. I have my vertical, my horizontal center, and I have done 16 rotations. So what we're going to do is we're going to start, like I said, I'm going to do it with the center of the template in the center of our block. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to pull up our bobbin thread like we always do. Again, I do like to put it underneath the template. For me, that works. And if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Just because I don't do it that way doesn't mean you can't do it another way. I am not a my way or the highway person. There is one thing though that I think is very important, and that is to make sure to test your foot height and your tension before you get going. So I'm going to come just right up here in the corner. What we're looking for is we are looking to have the bottom of our foot just kiss the top of that fabric. And what that will do is it will eliminate skipped stitches and it will eliminate flagging, which is where the needle pulls the thread back and forth. And this is looking really good. I don't see any bobbin on top, and I don't see any top thread coming through the back. So back we're going to go. I almost forgot to do this. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and put my template on. And we're going to, again, we're going to pull up our bobbin thread and get it over there. Please excuse me just a minute here. I have a summer cold. Worst kinds of colds to have as far as I'm concerned. I do not like colds in the summer. Okay, so there, I've got my needle down in the center. What I'm doing is just like I've done on all of my other Spin-E-Fex. I am lining this line and this line, which will sit vertical on my block. Hold the thread back because you don't want any surprises with a thread nest. I like to take one stitch like in place or just one thread out. This template has a little bit of, you could fall off of it, I guess, is what a curve here. When we're doing curves, we want to make sure that we use a smaller stitch length. And you'll notice how nice and curved that top of that template is too. Take your time. You don't have to be in a rush. Enjoy the journey. I'm going to put my foot down and you'll see how beautifully curved that whole template is. Okay, now I'm going to turn my block around, lining that vertical line up once again. Don't have to worry about that thread anymore because we have now eliminated the possibility of getting a thread nest under there. Okay, so I'm going to go just this far. I'm not taking my hand off of the template, okay? And what I'm going to do, like I have done in all of the other ones, is I'm just going to go ahead and snip those threads. Why can we do that? Well, that's a real good question. We can do that because we're going to be stitching over that spot many times, and that will tie in those threads. They will not come undone. So we're going to be just fine with that. When you have a thread channel as opposed to the gate, when you come around to it, I like to hold my finger on both sides of it at the same time. Let me show you what I mean here. I'm going to bring you in just a little bit. And you'll see here, I like to hold my finger so that I've got this side and this side of it, okay? Just as a precaution, be careful you don't let the needle screw accidentally whack your finger, because it does hurt, and I know this from experience. Okay, there we go. Again, using those small stitches, not too small, but just small enough that we get a nice clean curve on here. Okay, and this is our third rotation. Again, we're doing this back and forth like we've done with all of our Spin-E-Fex. And the reason we do that is because it draws that fabric in more evenly. Around that bend, look at how easy that curve is. Isn't that gorgeous? And you'll see I've got my finger right here, far enough away from the screw that it won't bludgeon my finger. Okay, back to center. Make sure my needle is in my fabric. Normally, I would not be flipping the block. Normally, I would just flip the template. The reason I'm flipping the block is so that you can see exactly what's happening here. And this is going to be our fourth rotation. And you may have a block that this is all you need and it is 4 rotations, and that will look beautiful as well. Okay, there we go, back to the center. I'm going to make sure that my needle is down, lift my foot up, and show you the 4 rotations. Isn't that awesome? You know, we have so many different designs available to us. Leonie West has given us a gift unlike no other for quilters. Okay, now I'm going to put all of the 45-degree angle lines in, and that's going to then give me my 8-point rotations. Again, I do like to stress, if you're not sure of how you're going to exactly do your block, go ahead and number those reference lines. Number them 1 through 16. It is helpful. Now, even though we've really got our block very well stabilized, I'm still going to go on opposite ends. Okay, and we do have a line right here on our horizontal axis that helps us line everything up to make sure that we're exactly where we need to be. We have our vertical and our horizontal lines. We have a lot of different lines as well. I really think that you can come up with infinite possibilities. The possibilities are only limited by the mind, which is an awesome thing. So it would be interesting to see just exactly how many we could use. Okay, so this is our 7th rotation. What I should give you the meaning, my meaning of rotation. My meaning of rotation is going around the template 1 time. So we have just now done 1 rotation, and here it is. And now I'm going to come to the opposite side and do an additional rotation. Again, lining up my horizontal, lining up my vertical, taking that 1 stitch in place, or just a thread away from it. And the reason that I do that is because it helps me to avoid toe catchers. A lot of times what we do is we tend to have just a little bit of a jerking motion on that first stitch. So here is our 8-point rotation. I love it. I really do. I can't wait to see how the 16 is going to look. Now, if you wanted to, you could put another 8 rotations in this orientation. So you have the pointy edge out here. Let me see if I can, there we go. So we could have a pointy edge out here. That would be real interesting. And I think we'll probably come back and do that. As I said, I'm going to be coming back and doing different designs with these Spin-E-Fex for you. So here we go. Again, I'm going to go from one side to the other, lining up my horizontal and my vertical. When you're starting out new or on a new template, don't worry too much about stitch length. That's going to come with practice. What I'd like to see you work on is moving your template without pushing it against the foot and making sure that you don't move or don't push the foot against the template. When I'm holding the template, I'm not holding it with a death grip. I'm very loosely holding it, actually. My hands in here is what's moving the fabric. The fingers, the first fingers and thumbs are just literally holding that template steady so that it doesn't go careening off in a direction we don't want it to be. So that is the most important thing to start with, making sure that you're not pushing one against the other you're just gliding right next to it. All of these things do come with practice. And when I'm teaching, I tell my students about the last thing I'm going to worry about is stitch length, because that's just going to come with practice. That becomes second nature to us. I'm going to go ahead and do one more rotation here. The faster you stitch, the faster your hands need to go. The slower you stitch, the slower your hands need to go. It's just a beautiful dance that we're doing, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish up these 16 rotations. We're going to come back and take a look at it and see what we've got, okay? Okay, here we are. This is my last rotation. So this is rotation number 16. And I love the secondary designs that come from the Spin-E-Fex templates. You just don't really know for sure what you're going to get until you actually stitch them out. Of course, you could draw it out on paper first, and then you would know very well what you would get. But I like the surprise. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clip that thread off. I will come back and bury it. And here's our 16-point rotation. Spin-E-Fex number 7. And this is our 7.5-inch template on an 11-inch block. And we will be back with another Spin-E-Fex. We have 16 of them in total, and we're going to do them all. We're just going to have fun with it. So until we meet again, let's quilt.